Pectoralis major, pectoralis minor, right here, and xiphi humerales, right there. And then down into the abdomen, there's 3 layers of muscle over here. The outer one is external oblique. The next one, which usually is found more on the side down here, is internal oblique. The last one, which the muscle fibers are running this way, is transverse abdominis. And then along the midline, where you should be able to see the muscle fibers running straight up and down, is rectus abdominis. And then there's one more that hides kind of up in the armpit. This is serratus anterior. And it kind of is hidden sometimes by this big muscle which goes down the back called latissimus dorsi. Down to the inner thigh. 2 shallow muscles. This one is gracilis. This one is sartorius. On most cats, it won't flap that way. This way, it will actually flap up against the body. But if you flap those away, then we have the coffee and hot dog. This is tensor fascia latae, vastus lateralis, rectus femoris, vastus medialis. This little tiny muscle right there is pectineus. And then adductor longus, which kind of looks like it got shredded a little bit, but it's still there. Adductor femoris. This is semimembranosus. And behind it, right here, is semitendinosus. And then this big calf muscle is gastrocnemius. And on the medial side is plantaris. But under it, on the outer side, is a little muscle. You can pull it around and kind of see it is soleus. And on the front is tibialis anterior. And just behind tibialis anterior, right there, is extensor digitorum longus. And then back here is Achilles tendon. And then if we put the cat on their back, now we've got, this is still semitendinosus, big biceps femoris. This is still vastus lateralis, and this is still tensor fascia latae. Same thing over here, biceps femoris. This little one in front of it is called caudo femoralis, and in front of caudo femoralis is gluteus maximus, and in front of that one is gluteus medius. Back up to the back, again this is the big huge latissimus dorsi. And then we have 1 trapezius. The cat's is divided into 3. There's spinotrapezius, acromiotrapezius, and clavotrapezius. And clavotrapezius is right next to clavodeltoid. Acromiotrapezius is right next to acromiodeltoid, right there. This is the lateral head of the tricep. This is the long head of the tricep. And on the back side of the hand, we have the extensors. And it looks like you did this one. I'm going to go with this one. So there are 3 really easy to find tendons, these 3. And that's where I always start, is I find those. The first one is actually made of 2 muscles. This is extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis. You can see the white line between them, but they're still kind of like one muscle. The next one is extensor digitorum communis, extensor digitorum lateralis, because it's on the lateral side, and then extensor carpi ulnaris, because that's the pinky side. The other side of the arm, okay, in the armpit, this shallow muscle is epitrochlearis. That's still the long head of the triceps brachii. Right up there is their biceps brachii. The forearm, again, I always go for my identifying muscles. This is palmaris longus. The next one I always find is the wedge in the middle of the elbow. And that little wedge that's right there is pronator teres. Between them is flexor carpi radialis. On the pinky side is flexor carpi ulnaris. And then in the neck, last but not least, this is the jugular vein. You don't need to know that, but you will next semester. Right in front of it is the sternomastoid. Right behind it is the clitomastoid, and you can see they're both headed up to the mastoid process. This round shiny muscle is the masseter, This is the digastric on either side, and in the middle is mylohyoid. This is the left and right, and they go higher in the neck, so these are sternohyoid, and right next to them is a little tiny muscle. It looks like it may have broken on this side, and it stops right there. So it doesn't go as high. That's sternothyroid. And I think that's it.